Listen, I'm really glad that you're here. You came to celebrate Christmas Eve with us. As we get started, I need your help a little bit. I need you to, everybody raise your right hand, okay? If we're confused, the L, there we go, okay? I need you to look at your neighbor and give him a high five and say, Merry Christmas. Okay, now I want you to look at the person next to you and say, I'm really glad you're here, and give him another high five. Excellent. Hey, I have in recent months, I've caught a little bit of flack from some of you because of my love for something. Okay, and we're not going down the sports train, okay, but I've caught a little bit of flack from some around here that don't like snow because I love snow. Okay, I love snow, and I know that for some of us, we work in snow and we hate it, and there's other of us, we don't have any reason for any snow in our life. 70 and above, we're good. But for those of us that do love snow, how many snow lovers do I have in the room? Okay, good, yeah, snow is good. If you don't like snow, that's unfortunate for you, okay, but that's all right. I love snow. I grew up in snow. And many of you know this, and we all have different opinions of snow. Some of us don't like it, some of us love it. But if we can agree on something, okay, even if you are a snow hater in the room, you have to admit that when the snow first falls, like before you have to get out in it, before you have to work in it, okay, before you have to get all the kids out the door in it, like before that thought process starts, okay, the maybe minute or so before that starts, when the snow blankets everything, it's just white, and no one's driven in it, and the plows haven't pushed it, and everything is just blanketed. That is a moment of beauty, right? Like, even if you hate snow, okay, that moment is beautiful. For those of us in the room that are deer hunters, I love to hunt in snow, okay, because sitting in the deer stand and having the snow just kind of blanket around you, okay, it's beautiful. Plus, I get way better at tracking deer in the snow. It's just the way it works. But that moment when it just blankets everything, there's this moment of calm. And maybe a better word for it than calm is peace, right? Like there's this peaceful moment when everything is white, when nothing seems fractured or dirty or anything like that. This moment of pure white that just blankets everything is beautiful. Jesus came to this earth to bring a very similar type message, and not just a message, but a movement. You see, when Jesus came to this earth, he came with a message that comes for all of us. And it's the message of peace. Wrapped in clothes, it was peace for our struggles. It was peace for our sin. It was peace for eternity. I remember when I was growing up, standing in my living room different times, and there would be feet of snow outside. It was great. But snow would just be coming down in buckets. And as I was standing there in my gym shorts and t-shirt looking out at the snow, my mind began to race with an imagination of everything that could happen in the snow. We could have all of these type of snowball fights, and we could build forts. And can you imagine how fast we could go on a sled or a tube down a hill in this type of snow? And my mind would just race with all of these ideas. But you know what would not happen while I was standing in my living room? Any of those things I was thinking about. It wouldn't happen as I'm standing in my living room in my gym shorts just observing the snow. In order for those things to happen, for me to have all the fun in the snow that I was thinking about, to experience the adventure that I was thinking about, I had to go outside in the snow. I had to pursue or participate in the snow. And the same is true with Jesus for us tonight. That a lot of times when it comes to this time of year, it's our time of year to just observe Jesus out the window. And we kind of evaluate our life at Christmas and Easter sometimes and say, well, it would be good if Jesus did this for me. And we stand at our window and we kind of look out and we say, oh, yeah, it would be good if that happened. But tonight, if I could be so bold in the few minutes that we have, that maybe the peace that we're searching for has already been given to us. We're just not pursuing it. We're not willing to go out and spend time with Jesus. We're just wanting to observe. The problem is if we're just observing, we're not going to ever experience. In Luke chapter 2 in the Bible, we see the story of Jesus coming to this earth. And we see the different encounters that happen. But one of the encounters that happen in Luke chapter 2 is with the angels and the shepherds. Jesus is born, and all of a sudden there's the shepherds. They're out in the dark with the sheep, trying to keep the sheep safe from anything that's going to come at them. And all of a sudden, in front of them is a glowing figure singing to them. You can imagine how terrified they are. Like if you were just outside at night and all of a sudden there's a glowing figure in the sky. Okay, it's terrifying. I would imagine. I've never seen it. It's this terrifying moment, and they come with this message, and then as the shepherds, they have to be thinking, are we dreaming this? Like, is this real life? And the next thing they know, the whole sky is filled. And in Luke chapter 2, we read the angel's message. It says, beginning in verse 13, suddenly a great company of heavenly hosts appeared with the angel, praising God and saying, glory to God in the highest, and on earth, peace. Peace on those whom his favor rests. When the angels had left them and gone into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, let's go to Bethlehem and see this thing that has happened, which the Lord has told us about. You see, as Jesus is born and the angels that go and they tell the shepherds, you know what the shepherd's reaction is not? It's not, man, I can't wait to see pictures of that baby on Facebook. It's going to be great. I bet he's going to be cute laying there in the hay. They did not look at each other and be like, you know what, that baby picture on Instagram is going to be great. They did not say, I can't wait to read about it in the newspapers. They hear this message about Jesus and that peace is coming unlike anything they have ever seen before. And it drives them to action. You see, peace is about to explode across the earth. Not in peace among tensions on the earth, but peace in people's hearts that will change them forever. You see, this peace causes action. The shepherds, they recognize that if we're going to experience this Jesus and the peace that he brings, then we have to go. We have to go. We have to pursue. Because if we're honest, we're all looking for some sort of peace in life, right? Like there's some of us that we never have peace in our minds. Our minds just run nonstop and we think of all of the worst all of the time and it wears us out and it stresses us out. And we are in some sort of search for peace just to help us relax for a minute. There's some of us that we are in search of peace when it comes to our marriages. There's tension and there's friction and we can't seem to resolve conflict and we're just looking for some moment of peace. There's some of us that feel completely unsure of who we are. And we're looking for some sort of answer, some sort of direction. And it feels like all peace is lost. There's some of us that we have this sin that just kind of twists and turns our lives. And it always leaves us feeling guilty. And it leaves us feeling empty. And we're just looking for some sort of peace. Maybe it's with our kids, and our constant cry is, can you just be peaceful for a moment, right? Maybe it's with someone at work. Maybe it's with a sickness that is in you or your family, and you're just looking for some calm and peace. We're all searching for it. But could it be that the peace is already here? We're just not pursuing it. Could it be that Jesus coming to this earth brought peace to our struggles and our sin and our difficulty? And the problem is that we're just standing at the window observing and not pursuing. I mean, Matthew chapter 1 at the very beginning, it tells us that Jesus brings peace. It says, she will give birth to a son and you are to give him the name Jesus because he will save his people from their sins. What greater peace than to not walk around with the guilt of our mistakes? You see, God is, as he enters this world, God is visiting a sinful man. And not with the judgment that you and I, that we deserve, but with the peace of his salvation. You see, friends, peace is found in our pursuit of Jesus. It's not in politics. It's not in presence. It's not in this world. It's a Savior wrapped up in swaddling clothes that will eventually carry a cross for our sins. No matter what it is that we're wrestling with, no matter what our struggle looks like, our lives have the promise of peace because of the person of Jesus. Because God stepped out of heaven and into our broken world. That we can live with the promise of peace because of who he is. Because of what he has done for us. When I think about it, not just can snow be beautiful, but when I think about the experiences in my life, some of the biggest wounds that I've gotten in life, like physical wounds, were from when I was in the snow. All right, I dislocated my shoulder in the snow. I've wrecked a car in the snow. Just a couple weeks ago, I was putting Christmas lights up on our house. I had promised our kids that I would get them up. Normal people put Christmas lights up when it's light out so you can see what they're doing. I don't want to do that. There's not much adventure in that. I'd rather start at 9 o'clock at night when it's snowy and cold. It makes lots of sense. And so that's what we did. And so my kids, they wanted to help. So what that is code for is while I'm up on the ladder hanging the lights, they're on the ground arguing with one another. It's good help. And so that was happening, and I'm hanging the lights, and they're asking me about hanging the lights, and finally it was time for them to go to bed. And I'm frustrated by the light procedure. It's not going the way that I wanted. And so I'm hanging these lights. They're up going to bed, and I needed to use the restroom. And so I got off the ladder, and I went and I jumped on our front porch. Now there's snow on our front porch. There's snow on the ground. Okay, and I jumped up on the front porch, and my foot slipped. And when my foot slipped, I raked my shin, almost the whole front of my shin, right down the front of our concrete step. And I mean, it was bleeding and everything. And this was Saturday, and to be completely honest, I think I needed to take communion twice on Sunday after, because it was just not a good moment for me. Some of the biggest wounds that I have come from in the snow, and it's because I was paying attention to me. Like, I was angry in that moment. I was frustrated. It's because I was focused on me. I didn't pay attention to what was going on around me. I've walked away from snowball fights with a bloody nose, or gave someone a bloody nose because I wanted to win. I scratched someone's face because I picked up a piece of ice instead of snow one time and threw it at him. Not smart. Ice hurts. Some of the biggest wounds physically have also been found in the snow, and it's because in those moments I was focused on me. I was in a hurry. I wanted to win. I wasn't paying attention. And there's some of us here tonight that we are missing the beauty of the snow and living in the fracture of the snow because we're so focused on us. We are missing the peace that has been given to us because we're so just focused on us. And we wonder, God, when are you going to show up? God, when are you going to bring peace to my life? I mean, it says that Jesus, he'll be called Prince of Peace. So when's it going to happen? And we just stand in the comfort of our front living room, observing. And maybe, friends, maybe peace has been brought. We're just not pursuing it. Maybe we're spending day in and day out wondering, where is God in this life? Why does everything seem to be broken or not working right? Why is it that my life feels empty? Why is it that I don't feel like I have purpose? Where's the peace? But if we're only pursuing us, we will never be able to find the peace that was given to us. Could it be that we've already been given peace? We're just not pursuing it. You see, the manger, it wasn't just holding a baby. The manger was holding the weight of a sinful world. And so my question tonight is this. Are we imagining peace into our lives, or are we pursuing Jesus to bring it? Are we imagining that God's just gonna show up one day and just make everything better? Are we imagining peace into our lives, or are we pursuing Jesus to bring it? I love Christmas and I love the snow, because that moment when snow blankets everything, it's this moment where everything looks new. And this is exactly what Jesus does for us. We celebrate Jesus coming to this world, not because the exclamation mark is the manger, but because of what it led to. But we celebrate this time of year, peace coming to this earth, because peace would be given to us through a cross, where we don't look like the dirty snow that's been thrown off to the side. Well, because of Jesus, and because of Jesus coming to this earth in humble beginnings, we've been given peace that lasts for eternity. Are we imagining that it will happen, or are we pursuing for him to bring it? Tonight, why don't we go ahead and stand together? When you came in tonight, you were given a candle. Hopefully you didn't lose it. You're going to want to grab it. Every year, we get to Christmas Eve and we have this candle. And sometimes we just do it because, well, that's just what you do at candlelight service, right? Kind of makes sense. But there's a reason for it. It's this visual reminder of the way that God moves through this world. There's some of us right now that if we look around, we can see a handful of people, we can see people that are real close to us, but we can't see much more than ourselves and them who are close. And for a lot of us, this is how life feels right now. It feels dark. It feels empty. And for a lot of us right now, we can only see us because that's what we're focused on. But as we're going to light candles here in a minute, there's going to be a light that begins to move through this room. And it will start up close and it will move its way back. And we light these candles to remind us of Jesus coming into this world and then moving throughout the world to bring light, to light up our lives, to bring peace and a calm. And as that light moves around the room, it's this reminder that there's no place for darkness. There's no place for sin. There's no place in God's world for selfishness. And that peace was not just brought for a moment, but peace was brought for eternity. And we celebrate in this moment that because Jesus came in a manger, it led to a cross. And you and I, we were blanketed with the pureness of a new snow. We were washed clean of that dirt and made new. As we worship in the next couple moments, let us be reminded tonight that Jesus came to bring peace, but that peace leads to eternity. Are we imagining or are we pursuing?